Well, they aren't here yet, but they're coming. We're talking about Miller moths.
That's right. Experts say they are migrating west and eventually are going to land here in Colorado. We've got entomologist and horticulture specialist Kareem Garby joining us right now to talk a little bit more about what we can expect when they get here. I feel like he's about to describe the plot of a horror movie. Kareem, thank you for being with us. You were just telling us some other disturbing stories about some different bugs. We want to hear the rest of that in just a bit. First of all, let's talk about Miller moths. Why are they such a problem every year?
So Miller moths are Denver locals just like us. They spend part of their lifespan in the plains and then they migrate to the higher elevations in the late spring.
So I know they say you're not supposed to kill them. Why is it important to keep them alive?
Miller moths, they are part of our ecosystem. A lot of native organisms feed on them. For example, our ground beetles, members of the Carabidae, feed on the larval stage. There's actually a type of wasp called a cutworm wasp that specializes in parasitizing the Miller moth. And they also serve as food for bears, sometimes as coyotes, and they're important native pollinators too.
Talk a little bit more about the pollinating side of that, because I think that's where, we kind of come in a little bit more with the not killing them. How are they good for us if we have gardens in our backyard or something like that?
Yeah, so Miller moths are nocturnal, and so a lot of flowers only open up their flowers or have their peak nectar flow at night. So these nocturnal pollinators are specialized to pollinate flowers that are also nocturnally active.
All right, so I don't mind them when they're outside, but how do we keep them out of our house? Like, why are they ending up inside?
That's a good question. Miller moths have this behavior called being thigmotactic, meaning they like to feel like they're being hugged on all sides.
Okay, maybe I'm thigmotactic. I like to be hugged too.
Yeah, so they like dark, cramped spaces, and that can often be the cracks in like the doors of our cars, our garages, or cracks along the windows, vents, or doorways of our homes. So they're just seeking out some shelter, and sometimes a wrong turn takes them into our homes.
Okay, interesting. Now, when we think of moths and you think of them going inside, typically moths can eat your clothes and kind of that's when you see the holes in your sweater. Miller moths are not that case, though. They only eat plants, right?
That's correct. Only the larval stage feeds on plants. The adults are pollinators, and they are not attacking anything in your home. Not you, not your pets, not your furniture, not your children. They're just a nuisance pest.
Okay.
We call them that because they're only a problem because seeing them around being annoying is a nuisance. Yeah.
There's some people like that too, right?
Yep, that's true. Is it true that they're kind of like dirty? Is that dust on their wings or no?
That's a good question. So that dust is actually their wing scales. Moths and butterflies, their wings are made up of a bunch of microscopic scales that can be shed very easily. They evolved that defense to deal with spiders. If they get caught in a spider web, they shed some scales and they can live another day.
Okay.
I had no idea.
Kareem, thank you so much for coming in.
Okay, so as the gorgeous Colorado spring settles in and summer is fast approaching, now is the time to take in the warm temps and perhaps have a cocktail while you do it.
I like the sound of that. In today's Bougie on a Budget, we're talking about where to get tasty drinks on a vibey patio for cheap. So we've curated some Denver area happy hours that will get you outside when you need that little dose of sunshine. There's so many great ones, but we've curated this list, and the first one is Corsica Wine Bar in Rhino. It's a Mediterranean wine bar that I'm not gonna lie, I really wanted to gatekeep this one because it's like my favorite spot right now. It is awesome. Like, they've got pink umbrellas on the sidewalk patio. It really gives you kind of like Euro vibes in the heart of Denver. It's located at 2801 Walnut. They're Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 happy hour, boasts $5 glasses of wine, draft beer. It has decadent cheap bites. Get this, fried oysters, baked feta, lamb lollipops. Like, it's next level. And they have some frozen drinks and cocktails. It's a great spot. If you haven't been,
I have not.
Go.
Okay.
If you're taking my chair, my table, I might be a little upset because this is like my spot. It's awesome.
Poor Alex is gonna be like, hey, where's my table? There's Sam. Okay, Kawani, you guys, is a personal favorite of mine. The Michelin recommended Japanese pub has one of the most talked about happy hours in Denver right now. From $5 sake and beer bombs to $5 bao buns in a lively setting, there's no better way to unwind after a long day or end your work week. You can enjoy happy hour from 4 to 5, Tuesday through Friday. And this is a steal because this is a fancy schmancy place.
It is, and it's hard to get in with a reservation.
Yes.
So like happy hour is the way to go.
Yep.
Get there when it starts, slide into the bar, or of course, as we're talking about, they have an awesome patio. You can get the happy hour as well. Ace Eat Serve, it's in Uptown, delivers probably the most versatile eats and sips on this list. It's from 4 to 6. Tuesday through Friday, and then also I love a happy hour on a weekend, 3 to 6 on weekends.
Ooh.
This Pan Asian joint delivers $4 to $6 wine, sakes, beers, whiskey shots. The kitchen serves up everything from pork pot stickers to its signature tiger wings, Brussels sprouts, all anywhere between like $3 to $10. Plus, my favorite part about this massive patio, it has like ping pong tables, swinging chairs that my kiddos love, the space to really like let your kids stretch out. They can we bring like a board game and just
How
hang out. It's a
fun.
very like casual vibe, totally
Right.
family friendly. We'll go there and spend a couple of hours. They've got a lot of space, which is good.
Love family friendly. You sold me on that. So this is an oldie but a goodie. But no happy hour list would be complete without Pastino, with 4 locations on Broadway, 9th in Colorado, Lodi, and Boulder. Every single location has great patios with good vibes. All wine is $6 a glass before 5 p.m. every day.
Yep.
Yes, even those premier $14 and $15 a glass wines, just $6. It's a great way to try different wines to increase your palate, your wine knowledge without breaking the bank. It's also a family-friendly environment, so please feel free to bring the kiddos.
Yes, it was really hard to like curate this list. There's so many that were kind of left on the cutting room floor. There's so many
Nailed
locations.
it.
But I mean, there really are a lot of
Corsica.
spots.
I'm going to
Oh, Sam, you take my table, I'm going to be upset. This list can keep on going, and we want to keep adding to it. So let us know like your favorite spots that we can check out. We'll like keep the conversation going, and we'll be sure to add others throughout the summer. But we have not failed you with this list. Check out these places, have some fun, bring the family.
And they can't gatekeep either. They have to
True.
tell us.
Yeah, tell us the good stuff.
It's National Bike Month, and something that's always on top of mind with cycling, of course, safety.
Safety is number one. Boulder-based cycling advocate Ryan Van Duzer is here to walk us through the safety steps that you should start thinking about as soon as you step into the bike shop. Good morning. Thanks for coming in.
I'm psyched to be here.
We're happy to have you here, too, especially after we learned he went to college with Marshall. We're about to get the dirt on Marshall Zellinger,
That's
everybody.
right. And I interned here 20 years ago.
That is so fun.
It's fun to be back.
Well, welcome back in. Okay, so you've actually helped build a few different bikes. What do you think people need to kind of keep top of mind when they're deciding the right bike for them?
Well, you want a bike that fits you well, not only for safety reasons, but for comfort. And you want to feel, bikes are supposed to be fun, right?
Right.
And if it's not fitting you right, it's not going to be fun to ride it. So when you go into a bike shop, you want to make sure that you get a bike that like fits right. So when you're standing over it, you want to measure your inseam. That's the most important thing.
Okay.
But really when it comes down to it, I mean, get a cool color bike. You know, like get something that like looks sexy that you're going to be psyched to jump on.
Something that whenever I pass you, you know it's me because it looks cool.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
You got to make it your own.
Yeah.
You know, I totally get that. So how does a rider find the right size bike? Is it based on height, or is it mostly just the measurements?
Yeah, a little bit of height, but also your inseam, where your leg meets your torso up here, you measure this. If you go to any local bike shop, they're going to know how to get you on that right bike for you. Yeah.
And if they're not asking you that question, then go somewhere where they are asking you that
Yes.
question, right? Okay, what's a feature that maybe new bike riders often overlook that's actually really important for them in the long run?
Well, these bikes right here are very cool. I designed this bike here. This has a Gates carbon belt drive, Gates Colorado company.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
not a traditional chain. It never needs to be lubed. So it's low maintenance is what we're talking about here.
Yes.
This bike also has the Gates belt drive, but you want to have a bike that again is comfortable. So it's set up for what you want to do with it. If you want to go mountain biking, you're probably going to want to get like a mountain bike like this. Or if you want to just cruise and look cool, you want to get a cruiser bike like that.
This is called the Doozer Cruiser.
Yeah.
Is this like based off of you?
Oh, it might be, yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, so that's my bike, but also you'll notice these colors, the Colorado flag colors.
Yes, what I noticed right away.
Yeah, and it's got this retro look to it, very cool.
This is like gum wall or whatever
Exactly,
it's
yeah,
called.
it's made by Priority Bikes out of New York. You can get them in Boulder, Colorado at Full Cycle. This is one of the oldest bike shops in Boulder, so yeah.
Now, do you specialize in all kinds of bikes or like solely mountain bikes?
So my preference is like mountain bikes
Okay.
to go on adventures
Okay.
with. You know, I just feel more comfortable on a mountain bike. They have the wider tires, a little bit more cush, and it's just fun. You get to ride on dirt. And when you're riding on dirt, you're away from cars.
Right,
Because,
right.
you know, as we all know, distracted driving, cell phones, all that kind of stuff, when you're on the roads, it can be a bit more dangerous. So I always look for dirt.
Okay, good to know. Do you have any rides that you kind of recommend for maybe beginners that
Yeah.
want to get out there?
Rutabaga.
Well, yeah, well, I mean,
Rutabaga.
I took the bus here this morning with my bike on the bus and rode the Spear bike path all
Yeah.
the way here. So I'm a big fan of the protected bike paths where you're not going to have any chance of getting hit by a car.
Right.
Up in Boulder, there's lots of great trails. Batasso, the North Sky Trail. You know, Boulder's known for its bike friendliness, so we have a lot of protected bike lanes. I've actually never had a car in my life, so I ride my bike
That is
everywhere.
wild.
You
Yeah,
never have, but do you know how to drive?
barely, barely. Do not trust me in a car.
Because he's a runner and he's a biker, so we know he knows how to get around.
Yeah.
Just, okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I got my license at age 32. So long after most people get them at 16.
Clearly you don't need it though.
And
You've
I've barely used it.
done well for yourself.
What's the number one question that you get asked from people about bikes?
Safety, really, because people want to ride bikes, but they might feel intimidated about riding on the roads and sharing the roads with cars. And I always tell them, get a bike that fits, but also like plot out where you're going to ride. Maybe you're riding to work or to the grocery store, and make sure you can find like a pretty safe route with protected bike lanes. And stay away, you know, far to the right, and be visible with lights and reflectors and stuff.
Always wear the helmet too, yeah.
And the helmet, yes, I have my helmet right here
I
at
love
all
it.
times.
I love it. Okay,
Yep.
Ryan, if we want to live vicariously through you and your adventures, you're a YouTuber. Where
Yeah.
can people go find your videos?
Doozer TV, youtube.com/Doozer TV. I make bike videos from all over the world, and the goal is to inspire people to ride their bikes and have fun. Because when you think about like some of your best childhood memories, that's when you learned how to ride a bike, right?
Yeah.
And you feel that freedom. Well, I still feel that freedom.
And then you could potentially get a bike named after you, like the Doozer.
Exactly.
All right,
I
y'all.
don't feel like mine would be very cool. Like the chop. What rhymes with Chavez? I don't know.
We'll think of something.
We'll let Ryan decide that.
I'll make one for you.
Well, the summer is like officially upon us. Summer weddings are just weeks away. Summer officially starts June 20th. And before the lucky brides and grooms cut the cake, we wanted to bring on the owner of a local and nationally recognized bakery that's well known for crafting wedding goodies, talking us through wedding cake trends that we expect to see this summer.
I'm so excited. Angie Wells is in the house from the Cake Bar. You're joining us now. I'm a huge fan. I'm also vegan, and let me tell you, everybody speaks of your cake, and we'll get to your award because this is really cool. Okay, so first and foremost, definitely we know that during wedding seasons that there's different cake trends. So what do you think is like the most like popular cake trend coming up?
Yeah. One of the most popular wedding cake trends is vintage piping. So like this wedding cake here, it's very retro, classic, timeless, a lot of different piping tips and layers involved. There's a few different ways to do it. So we recommend getting like inspo photos if you have a particular vintage piping style in mind. We're also seeing flowers being the pops of color. So whether it's fresh flowers or artificial flowers or even frosting piped flowers, that just adds an extra touch to the wedding cakes. We're also seeing themes specific to the wedding couple, depending on what they want to get creative with, whether it be they may love mountains or they want to incorporate their pets into the wedding cake. You know, whatever's near and dear to them, we can find a way to incorporate it into the wedding cake.
I love that. What about like flavors? I think traditionally you think vanilla on vanilla, right? But like what else is kind of like in right now?
Yeah. Vanilla white cake is the most popular
And
wedding
this is
cake
vanilla
style.
vanilla. That's why you talk. I'm just gonna,
Yes,
I'm gonna
yes,
try
it's the
vanilla
most
vanilla
popular
too.
one. But we're also seeing red velvet.
Love red velvet.
Red velvet's a popular one. Lemon is super popular. Lemon poppy seed, adding a lemon curd filling. Fillings are really popular too, like raspberry compote or strawberry type of filling. And I'm also seeing with people for larger weddings that have tiered cakes, they may have the bottom tier one flavor and then the top tier another flavor, depending on their preferences.
It's just so good.
I just want to say, as a plant-based cake, it is so decadent and savory and moist.
You wouldn't know.
Oh my God, it's so
I know,
good.
you would have no idea. So for people out there right now, they're planning a celebration, maybe even a wedding. They're looking for something plant-based or they're just looking for a fantastic cake. How do they start and what would you recommend?
Yeah, I recommend booking a consultation first. So if you go online to the cakebardenver.com/order, you can click on a cake consultation. It's a quick phone call just to start that initial process, learning what they are envisioning for their special day. And then if they've never tasted the cake, then we arrange some time for them to come in. Or if they're not local, which we get a lot of people flying in to Denver for the wedding, then we can ship them some samples.
Wow.
And people flying in to meet you in particular, Angie, because we got to like toot your little horn real quick. You won an award from PETA by becoming one of their top rated vegan cake makers in the entire country. That is a huge recognition. We are so proud of you. How do you feel about that?
I am humbled and honored. I found out about it just through an email from a representative through PETA, and that they were considering us, that we had been nominated. They asked us to send some photos and a little bit more information about our bakery, and after a few weeks of waiting and fingers crossed, they announced that we were in the top 10.
Yay! And I get like the PETA newsletters. So when they sent it and it was like local Denver, I was like, what? Excuse me? So such a big deal. You should be super proud of yourself. Now, going back to just your cakes, let's say somebody wants to start doing their wedding, they're starting their timeline. When should somebody actually meet with you? What is that timeline before they can get their cake?
I recommend to think of your cake when you're booking the venue. Have that initial conversation when you're starting to book things, and have maybe conversations with your photographer as well. But we're known for a fast turnaround time. We could turn around a cake like this in technically 2 days.
What?
So,
That's insane.
but I will say that our weekend slots book up really quickly, so you want to think about booking maybe a couple weeks in advance especially. So, but most brides are prepared ahead of time, and because we have quick turnaround times and affordable rates, we like brides that kind of know what they want, that don't need a whole lot of hand holding, can send us a photo example and the flavors and let us work our magic.
You can make anything happen. We know that. Before we say goodbye, let the people know where they can find you.
Yes, our storefront is located at 214 East 13th Avenue in Capitol Hill. We're in between Sherman and Grant. And you can also visit our website, thecakebardenver.com.
Oh my gosh,
Looking
congratulations.
for another one. Don't mind me over
so
here.
Good. Angie Wells of the Cake Bar, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Wow, this looks like vintage lace. So good. That is stunning. Stunning.
Pools open for the summer this weekend, and we know lakes and reservoirs are ready to go too. Now, while it is a very exciting time, it's also when we all need to be vigilant and keep safety top of mind. Tom Tersick from Goldfish Swim School joins us now. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
I know my family is so excited about the pools,
Yeah.
but as a mom, water scares me. So I think this is why it's so important to bring you in and talk about it. So first of all, what should every parent know when it comes to water safety?
Well, the reason we're so happy to be here, thank you for having us, is this is Water Safety Month. And we like this month because it gives us the opportunity to promote the concept of water safety. You know, unfortunately, still today, drowning is a huge problem in America. It happens frequently, and it's largely due to the fact that parents are just not aware of the safety skills, the basic skills they just need to know, their kids need to know. So we're really here to use this month to help promote that as far and wide as we can.
When should parents sign up their kids/babies for swim class and lessons?
It's a great question. So we encourage parents to enroll as early as possible, as early as 1. We actually start our lessons with kids at 4 months.
Wow.
And we do that because it's instinctive for them at that period of time in their life. They understand what they're doing, and they just quickly grasp the concepts of floating and safety and movement.
Yeah, I read this stat. It says, according to a recent survey, 2/3 of families plan to spend time near the water this summer, but only 1/3 of parents feel confident in their kids' swimming abilities.
That's right.
That's scary.
It is scary, and as we head into swim season, there's just a few essential tips that we encourage every parent to understand and know. The first one is basically just enroll in lessons anywhere near you, quality swim lessons. And as I said, we encourage you from 1 year on or younger if you can get into our schools. The second one is, and you've seen this commonly, where people are using floaties.
Yes.
If you choose to use flotation devices of any sort, we highly recommend you swap out those floaties for U.S. Coast Guard approved life jackets. That should fit firmly against the chest and the shoulders. They're available in every major sporting goods store.
I feel like you really have to look at labels these days because Amazon sells so many of them, but they are not Coast Guard certified.
Correct. You need to see that they are Coast Guard approved life jackets. And then the second thing is, since you're looking for life jackets, hopefully, you're buying new swimsuits for your kids.
Yes.
Now, this is really interesting, but it's really factually true. The brighter the swimsuit, the easier it is to see your child in the water.
Yes.
So we discourage parents from buying purple, blues, dark green swimsuits. It's hard to see under the water, particularly when there's multiple kids in the water.
Neon pink, neon orange.
Neon pink, yes,
The brighter,
exactly.
the better. That's so
the way to
great.
go. Yeah.
Also, talk a little bit about fin belly flipper. What is that about?
Yeah, it's a great question. So there's 3 essential skills that we start all of our kids with, and we encourage our parents to practice with kids when they're in the water. The first one's what we call fin belly flipper, and that's using your elbows to get up over the edge of a pool and then make your way up to your belly, and then you use your arms and shoulders and legs to get out of the water. It sounds awkward, but kids learn it right away, and once they know it forever.
You got to do things that stick with them.
Yeah.
Fin belly
Yeah.
flipper. I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
You were talking about how really it's important for kids to be able to figure out how to get a breath of fresh air if they're feeling fatigued and how to get out of the pool, right?
Yeah. So the following 2 tactics we'll teach our kids right away. Once they learn fin belly flipper, which is getting out of the pool. The second one, and this is something we encourage parents to do with their kids every day, every time they're in the water, because you want to train that sort of muscle memory, right? So when a child jumps in the water, we encourage them to turn, swim back, and get out of the pool. And it's just a regular practice again and again and again and again, so that if they ever find themselves fatigued or fearful, they're in water, they don't look across the pool to see the long distance. They just know that they can turn right behind them and get out from where they came in.
That's so great.
And then the third tool, and it's a fun one, a fun skill for the kids, is what we call the sea otter float. Sea otter float is simply turning yourself over in the water, putting your head up and breathing.
Yeah.
Every child can do it. Every person can do it. And we encourage this, and as I said earlier, the younger they are, the quicker they learn this skill.
Yeah.
And it's a life-saving skill.
Yes,
And those are the 3 essential skills.
So important. I'm so glad you came in, Tom. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. From Goldfish Swim School.
Yes.
Get those kids in lessons before they head out in the water. Thanks
Thank
for
you so
coming
much.
in.